Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with a different sort of video, not a complexion video. I'm going to be doing a get ready with me featuring the new Danessa Myricks. It's called the Groundwork Defining Neutrals palette. So I was very excited for this. You guys know how I feel about Danessa Myricks. I think she's amazing. Anyway, this retails for $65. You get a total of, it's 10 pans, but it's split. It has velvety pomades, and it has shaping powders as well. All right, so this is what the palette looks like, supposed to look like, but this is what my palette looks like because this was definitely a learning curve for me. This is what my palette looks like. It's all messy. Definitely a learning curve for me. And what I love about it, it's richer in person than I thought it would be because I was worried about it being too light. It's definitely richer in person. All right, so this could be used for your eyes, brows, face, and lips. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So like I said, I've played with this palette because it was a learning curve for me. So I wanted to be able to come on here and give you guys like an in-depth review of this palette. So I figured out what brushes to use with it and how to use it, so on and so forth. All right, so I'm gonna start off by filling in my brow. Now I've been using the Got2b glue. I saw the girls use it on TikTok and I tried it and I love it because my brows are thin but the hairs are long, so it keeps my brows down. Now on this palette, the pomades, I don't know how you say it, she's talking about is this kind of texture. It's almost like putty. It's like a putty kind of texture. It's like spongy and creamy, but yet it dries down like a powder. I love it. I've never really felt a texture like this. It's so different. All right, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this shade and a little bit of that, and I'm just gonna fill in my brows quickly. And I've already lined my brow. And I'm gonna be using my magnifying mirror a lot today, guys, so bear with me. So I'm just gonna, I've already lined my brow with my Sephora brow pencil. I have the Got2b glue, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of this in, and it's very easy and it works fine. I've been using the pomades to fill in my brow, not the powder. I think I like it better because the powders aren't deep enough. And the one dark, like the black powder, has shimmers like almost silver. So the pomades have been working out perfectly for me to fill it in. So I don't have much to do because I don't mess with my brows too much. I just follow the natural shape. I put a liner. The eyebrow pencil, and I'm done. You see how quick and easy that was? And it still looks natural because my brows are dark. So it still has that sort of natural look. All right, so I'm gonna do a full face. I'm gonna try to use most of her products. I color corrected, and I'm gonna be using her skin tint in shade 12. I color corrected under my eyes with an orange corrector. One of my beautiful subscribers, she gave me a suggestion, especially with the lighter concealers, to use an orange corrector, and it's been working out perfectly for me. And it's like, I'm like, why didn't I never thought of that? Anyway, so I'm gonna go in with her skin tint, like I said, in shade 12. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with concealer. She doesn't have a concealer, so I'm gonna use my Gucci concealer. I did a review of this concealer, and my problem with this concealer was the color because the more I wear it, the more I love it. This is 45W, but wearing the color corrector has helped a lot. So now, like since I got it, I wore it every day since I did that review. And I love this concealer. All right, so I'm just gonna blend it out quickly. All right, this is a concealer blended out, and as you can see, I think it makes a big difference under eye. It doesn't look as bright and as stark. This is like perfect, so I don't need to exchange it. And I color corrected with my Makeup Forever, the orange corrector. All right, so let's contour with the palette. And it says here to first set the velvet pomades to shape and define, then use the shape and fix powders to set. So to contour my face, and this can be used, I found, before powder and after powder, which is perfect. So for me, I'm gonna use this shade and this shade. I'm gonna mix these two. So I'm mixing this warm brown shade with this cooler brown tone shade. And I'm using my Sonia G brush. This is from her Lotus collection. This is the detail brush. I found this was the brush that worked best for me, and it has the perfect size to also fit in the pan. And look how beautiful this is. I love this palette already. Like, it's so beautiful. It's so different. It's different from any other palette that I own. And you guys know I love anything neutral. Any type of neutral palette, I'm there for it. Look how beautiful this blended out. It's so smooth and there's no patchiness. It goes on perfectly, but I think you have to have the right brushes. So if you're gonna purchase this palette, especially based off of my review, I hope you do, I think you need to play around with your brushes and see which one picks up the product better. Isn't this contour so pretty? I think combining those two shades, I got the perfect cream contour. I love how it looks very like sun-kissed. So beautiful. All right, before I go in with powder, I'm going to use her cream blush in Golden Hour. And I like to use it with a sponge, because I find with me when it comes to cream blushes, it tends to pick up my foundation if I don't use a sponge. Maybe I haven't figured out how to do that without picking it up when I use another tool. But I find a sponge works best for me, and this sponge is kind of like slightly damp, and I was the type of person never liked to like bring my blush up, but now I like it, but I don't bring it too much into my eyes because I find I start to look crazy. So I just go like that. And this is such a pretty color. It's very bright, but I think the blush controls a lot of how much, not the brush, the sponge goes on it, but it's like so pretty. All right, so I'm gonna set my under eye. I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me powder in shade 30. And this is like one of my favorite powders to use now, because I like the full coverage and I like the way it makes my under eye look. I had purchased two powders from her. I think I gave the deeper shade away, and the one for under eye, I found it was just too like bright, so that's why I didn't use it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set my entire face. I'm gonna use my Sephora powder, and this is in the shade Mahogany, and I'm just gonna set in everything, and then we're gonna get to the eyes. And I like the Sephora powder as well because it's so finely milled. I think this probably could be a finishing powder as well, but I like how light it is and it's not cakey because, like I said, I have very dry skin, so this works out like perfectly. All right guys, you know, as usual when I do a get ready, I like to take a break from my face, and I'm gonna start on the eyes. All right, so this is where I had the most trouble when I was using this palette, because I was using the wrong brushes. Then I tried to use my finger, did not work out. So the brush that I found worked the best for me is again from Sonia G, and this is her worker brush. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna cover my entire lid with this shade right here, and I find this brush really picks up, and I'm going in, and you see how it is? Some are more like creamier and spongier than others, because like the brown shades, these three shades, and the black shade, it's more spongy. This one has like the same texture, but it's not as spongy. So I'm just gonna put this all over my eye, and I'm just gonna keep building it up, like just setting a base. And to brighten it a little bit more, so I can have like a bright canvas, I'm gonna add some of this shade right here. The light is probably washing it out. This one is very spongy as well. As you can see, it's almost like shape shifting in the pan. But I have to have the ring light up so that I can see, and you guys can see the palette. So I just put this because I'm gonna take my fluffy brush later, and I'm gonna get the corners. And did you see how it moved in the pan? It's like putty. I can like put it to sit back down. See that? And this is what it looks like. Let me put this. But you see, if I use my fingers, it's not, the application to me is not as good, because it's almost like a, what she called it, pomades. It's like a cream to powder kind of thing. All right, so now I'm gonna take the shaping powder next to it right here, and I'm going to set it. I know everything looks crazy and very light, but it works out perfectly because it makes the darker shades pop more. All right, so now I'm gonna use the pomade, this pomade right here, this beautiful kind of chocolate brown pomade, and this is the Builder brush from the Sonia G Lotus collection. And you see this brush picks up the shade very nicely, and I'm gonna start packing it in on the outer corner. And this is such a beautiful shade. It's like a nice chocolatey brown, and they perform beautifully. And you know, I'm not a very skilled person when it comes to shadow or anything like that, and I'm definitely able to work with it. All right, now I'm gonna go in with the shaping powder next to it. So the brown shaping powder next to it, and I'm going to set it. And like I said, once you have the right brushes, it's very easy to work with. I'm already in love with this palette. I'm gonna be playing with it a lot, but it's gonna be very messy because the pomades move around a lot. And I'm gonna go all the way in here as well. And I'm leaving this space bare because I'm gonna put a little gold or something there. All right, so for my brow bone, I'm going back in with this shade right here, taking a little bit of the pomade, and I'm just gonna get it there on my brow. All right, so I'm gonna use so let me this palette again. What is it? Her Lightwork Volume 2 palette. And I don't want too much orange, but I'm gonna use a little bit of this shade right here, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of like a gold from my one of my Pat McGrath palettes. So right where I don't have anything there, I'm just gonna put a little bit of this. And I'm using my fingers. And then I'm gonna go over that with some gold, because I want a little bit of like gold sparkle. All right guys, so now I'm gonna use the black shade, the black pomade. And this is the only one where the shaping powder has glitter, it's like a silver glitter. But I'm gonna use that to create my winged liner, and I'm gonna have to lean really close into my magnifying mirror, so bear with me. But I'm just enjoying like playing with this palette. It's so pretty. And see how easy that is? And I don't do too much of a crazy wing because I'm not good at it anyway. And I'm just gonna pack it along my lash line. See how easy that was? And I'm the person, like I said, I need like a very sharp tip, and I love liquid liners, but I really, really like this. And oh, this palette is so versatile and so pretty. All right, I'm gonna go in with lashes and liner, and I'm gonna be right back. So I'm back with lashes and liner on. This is how everything is looking on my eyes. I think it just looks so rich and so pretty, and I love rich tones and chocolatey tones and like deep brown tones. It's just beautiful. And if I can work with these textures, anybody can work with these textures. I'm telling you, this palette is so beautiful, guys. I really, really like this palette. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it. All right, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna use the powder, what is it? The shape, the name slipped me. The shaping powder to contour, but I don't think I need it. I'm doing it for the purposes of this video. And you can also use this again over powder because it works well over powder. So I'm going to try to squeeze my brush into this little portion right here. And I'm just going to go over where I already put the contour. See how pretty that is? And it's the powders are very, very smooth, and she's so creative, and everything she does is so intentional and just perfection. I think this is probably gonna get palette of the year. I haven't looked at any reviews or anything, but it's that good. Look at that, so pretty. I wish she would make just a face palette and use the pomades and the shaping powders that go with them, like a huge face palette, which is bigger, where you can put like a bigger brush. I think that would be perfect. Who knows, maybe she will. All right, so for blush, I'm gonna use this pomade and this shaping powder right here. It has like an orange tint to it. And I'm going in with my Mario brush. And because the pans are so little, so see, it has like a nice orange hue to it, and I think it goes nicely with her cream blush. Everything is super pretty, guys, and you can do so much with this palette because these orange tones I also plan to use on my eyes as well. All right, guys, so I went ahead and I set my face with setting spray. So I'm gonna go in with highlighter. I'm using her Lightwork 2 palette. I'm gonna be mixing Cinnamon Sugar and Cappuccino, these two shades right here. And these are super pigmented, so see that? You barely have to tap your brush. It's very like glass-like. So I have to use a very light hand, except if that's the look you're going for. All right, guys, now for lips, I'm gonna combine these two pomades right here. The kind of warm brown mixed with the cooler chocolatey brown. And the palette is so versatile. You're gonna get a lot of like use out of it. So this is not a lip brush, I'm just improvising. So I've been doing it like this, like using like the sides of it, this brush, just to create like an angle. All right, so this is what the lip liner looks like. It's so pretty. You can just put this on and maybe even put like a gloss over top. It's like so nice. Like this, everything in this palette, so pretty. But I'm gonna use my Color Fix mattes. For the lips, I'm gonna go in first with Color Fix in shade 9. And I notice now these are in Sephora, because at first I used to have to purchase off of her her website, but I noticed they're in Sephora now. And what I like about using the pomades as lip liner, it's not slipping and sliding. I'm gonna do like an ombre lip, so I'm gonna go in with shade 5 in the center to complete the look. All right, guys, so this is the finished look. I love how everything came out, and I love this palette. Buy it. You guys need to buy it. Go in Sephora and buy it. Buy it today, tonight, tomorrow. Buy this palette. You won't regret it. If I can work with it, anybody else can work with it. It's beautiful. You can do so much. And if you like dark chocolatey eyes, and it'll be perfect, because that's what I like. I love the way I was able to do the contour. It looks so nice and sun-kissed. I love the way it worked for my lips, my cheeks. Oh, she outdid herself with this palette. I feel like everything she touched turns to gold. This is so beautiful. I enjoy working with it, but it's gonna be a messy palette, but hey, makeup is messy, right? It's such a beautiful palette, and I think it's worth the 65 big smackaroos. And isn't it gorgeous? Packaging is so nice, and buy it. Buy this palette. Like, if you're a neutral kind of girl that like chocolatey shades and stuff, oh, this palette is for you. I'm gonna walk around with this palette. It's gonna be my everyday palette, my going out palette, my overnight palette. Oh, I love it. It's delicious, and I think she made it for me. Don't mind me, especially if you're here for the first time. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Buy it.